You know, there's not a whole lot to talk about in Star Wars right now, so for the next few weeks, at least once a week, I'm going to take one of the hashtag AskEck questions and turn it into not just an answer at the end of one of my videos, but a full video. So if you have something you want to know, make sure you include it down below in the comments with the hashtag AskEck, and these videos are also going to be sponsored by my friends over at Ramen, but we'll come back to that. Today's question comes from Machina X Machina, who asks, what is at the center of the galactic core? Is it energy, an empty void, planets, or something else? This was a good question. It gives me an opportunity to talk not just about specifically what they're asking, but the deep core generally, which is one of my favorite places in Star Wars. The unknown regions, wild space, even the outer rim, they have this really neat lawlessness to them. And a big part of that is the galaxy is so big, the fringes often are unexplored or they go unnoticed. The deep core is kind of the exact opposite. It's at the center of everything, near the most civilized and populated part of the galaxy, yet it's so unknown there are forces which keep its truths hidden. And the most basic answer to your question is that the deep core, the very center of the galaxy, is what the Essential Atlas calls a pitless blaze of stars packed closely together, a place where navigation is difficult and life is very rare. Far enough into the deep core, the stars are so close together that the tangle of mass shadows makes hyperspace jumps impossible, and at the very center of the galaxy, there are no stars at all, just gases spiraling into a massive black hole. So that's the basic answer, not surprising. Most, but not all galaxies have a supermassive black hole at their center, but that only tells a bit of the story. The deep core is really quite fascinating. I alluded to some of the other secrets there. Should we talk about them? If you don't think so, click off. If you are down, let's keep going. I really love the way the Dark Empire source book talks about the deep core. Not surprising given the fact that Biss and other worlds in the region serve as the focal point for Dark Empire, but it does a great job of setting up how Palpatine used one of the last unknown places within the galaxy to set up a final redoubt. The deep core is filled with a myriad of blazing suns, some within a few light hours of each other. The closeness has long proved a nearly insurmountable navigational hurdle. Only the single-mindedness of a tyrant like Palpatine could pierce the final veil of this untouched region. Even before his ascension to the presidency, he had funded and promoted long-ranging deep core explorations. He ordered thousands of probots programmed to chart safe hyperspace routes into and through the deep core. It took years, but 3 probe droids succeeded. It goes on to explain that with this success, Palpatine launched survey ships, then scout ships. He found hundreds of habitable worlds, and the people who were around to also discover them were put to death. I'll tell you what he did next in a second, but before I do, let's talk about my friends over at Vite Ramen. They're gonna love how seamlessly I did this integration, or not, I don't know, but Vite Ramen is just a phenomenal company, longtime sponsor of this channel. I've long said they don't make me run their ads past them, so if they don't like this one, hey, it is what it is. I love their product. I actually partnered with them to make my own ramen flavor, Masamon curry, and it has the best of everything Vite Ramen. It's incredibly delicious, it's healthy, even though it's the full flavor variety, still better than most ramens, and of course, it's easy to make. Just for the record, I recommend that you put a little less water in, add some peanut butter, but I would not have worked with Vite Ramen for as many years as I have if I didn't believe in the product. You guys always leave your comments down below talking about it. The great thing is you'll not only be supporting me, but supporting a company that pays their employees well, is ethically run. Like, they recently helped me raise over $7,000 for kids hockey in my area. So right now, if you go to the link in the description, you can try Vite Ramen for 10% off by using code ECKHARTS, and you'll also get some free goodies. And if you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, especially on the Masamon curry flavor down below. Anyway, what did Palpatine do when he found all these habitable worlds within the deep core and killed off the people that helped him find it? Well, I'm glad you asked. He set up what was essentially the Star Wars Legends version of Exegol, but spread across multiple planets. He created, and I quote from the Dark Empire source book, a stronghold of loyalty, replete with secret military facilities, shipyards, and training grounds for his exclusive troops, worlds of loyal servants and private retreats for him and select elect ministers. Over many years, rumors of secret deep core colonies had surfaced, but they were never given more credibility than tales of lost space fleets, giant space slugs, and dark magicians ruling empires out in wild space. Only a few million of his most loyal supporters knew the truth. Although Palpatine was confident, he recognized that even Coruscant could fall someday. Palpatine created a series of fortress worlds, the most famous of which was Biss. Biss, again, is visited in the Dark Empire comic series, but I think the source book does a phenomenal job of describing the planet's mysteries. You've probably seen the image I've used many times from Dark Empire of the massive fleet around a mysterious planet that is Biss and its defense fleet. It was a mythic world, and I quote, bathed in the dark side of the Force, in the heart of the deep core. Palpatine turned it into a playground for him and his most favorite supporters. What's not often talked about is how it was basically a place of pure pleasure. A legend was created, a legend of a mystic siren world whose surreal shores and glimmering oceans held the promise of a contentment unattainable anywhere else. The thing is, when you traveled to Biss, you stayed there for the rest of your life. The heart of Biss and Palpatine's ultimate evil headquarters was the Imperial Citadel, which took up an entire continent on the planet. This is also where the cloning tanks were contained, where Palpatine's new body laid, and where he transferred his soul. Biss also had, and you don't hear about this very much in Star Wars, a massive space elevator, and was the center of much of the Empire's secret construction projects, including most likely the World Devastators, the Galaxy Gun, and the Eclipse-class Super Star Destroyers. This, however, was only one of the Empire's secret projects in the deep core. The entire region was actually locked off during the Galactic Civil War period. According to the Essential Atlas, it was a high security zone. And I mean, the Empire not only forbade travel within, but more importantly, traveling within the deep core is basically impossible because of the constantly shifting nature of the stars. The hyperspace lane to Biss, the Biss run, was actually held open through what were known as S-thread boosters, same thing that kept the hyperspace lane to Endor open when they were constructing the Death Star. But other planets were even stranger. As the Essential Atlas said, many deep core worlds are the stuff of dark rumors and mutterings. For example, in Legends, the Fortress Inquisitorius was not on Nur, it was on Prakith in the deep core. Otherwise, there were shipbuilding facilities, automated factories, and far more. It was for this reason that after the Battle of Endor, and I've talked about this before, Biss became one of the major holdout regions for Imperial warlords. If you've read the Callista trilogy, you'll be familiar with this. Darksaber has the whole events around Toss Beacon, but they even found lost dreadnoughts and Super Star Destroyers in old deep core facilities, which powered the Empire long after what could have been, realistically, an earlier fall. So what was in the deep core? Well, not a lot and a lot at the same time. Obviously, the very center of the galaxy, massive, supermassive black hole. The rest of the area, honestly, things that would keep conflict alive within the Star Wars galaxy for a long time. Secret fleets, reborn emperors. During the Yuuzhan Vong War, it was a secret deep core hyperspace route, which allowed the New Republic to defeat the Vong at the Battle of Ebak. It was also a secret deep core route, which allowed the CIS to attack Coruscant during the Clone Wars. So an interesting topic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if there's something you'd like to see me cover, let me know down below with the hashtag AskEck, and maybe next week, or maybe even this week if I run out of ideas, you'll see your video idea in a full-length upload. But that's all for today. See you soon.